because we aren't implementing technology because we're lazy. We're implementing technology because we want to be better. We want to be more efficient. Welcome to Egg's Most Okayest Farm Girls. I'm Annalise.
And I'm Courtney. Grab a drink. We're here to help.
Hello, all you okay farm girls. Today, we are diving into technology in agriculture, the tools that help farmers work smarter, not harder, because let's be honest, we already work plenty hard. If a robot wants to scrape manure or milk cows at 3 a.m., we are here for it. But yeah, farming these days, it's like full sci-fi, from auto steer tractors, drones, cow activity tractors. Like, it's amazing. I feel like us as kids who were born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s, and grew up with technology, it's kind of wild to see how far we've come.
It is crazy when you look back. And we were around when the first computer.
Yeah.
Like my grandma just had one of those little Mac. I shouldn't say little. They were fucking huge.
We're huge. Yeah.
In her basement, and you can play Oregon Trail on it.
Uh-huh. I used to play Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?
Yes.
Yeah, and you'd have to put an old CD in there to play a game and wait for the computer to dial up to the internet. Just a shrieking, terrible sound. I mean, the pain we went through just to get online. But yeah, I think we are, as millennials, it's a pretty cool generation to remember the olden days, I guess, and to just have been along for the ride with all this technology that we have. It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when it comes to technology on the farm, a person as a farmer, I think it is so cool what is out there. I'm so thankful that there are people way smarter than us that help farmers work harder and smarter. It's allowing us to use less resources, to cover less ground, to produce more while using less. It's pretty incredible, but I think consumers don't really like it. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, yeah.
Yeah, everybody loves technology when it comes to having the latest and greatest cell phone or medical advancements or your vehicles. Everybody loves it then, but when it comes to how their food is produced, they're like, no, we want you digging in the dirt like it's the 1900s.
Right. They kind of poo-poo it.
They can't, and it's we can't operate like that, at least not every single farm on the planet. We have a big growing population to feed. You can't expect us to be hand pulling carrots out of the ground.
Right. And for me and Aaron, for our operation, we're just two people. We don't have any employees. We got to work smarter, not harder.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, obviously we work hard, but...
Well, yeah, you can't. And labor it's getting harder to find people to fill positions. I know on our farm, it ain't easy. Nobody wants to milk cows, do hard work. Everybody wants to be an influencer these days or a YouTuber. We need people to actually do the jobs. Yes. I was just thinking the other day, how, AI has become so popular, so well used, and it's actually replacing so many jobs, but it's probably replacing the jobs that are like YouTubers.
The fun, creative ones.
Exactly. So if you are a young person listening to this, go be an electrician, be a plumber, be a farmer, be somebody that is actually going to do manual labor, because we need those people, and AI cannot replicate that. You know?
I wish AI would figure out, do my laundry, do all the shit I don't want to do. I don't need you doing the stuff I enjoy.
Exactly. I know. It's crazy. But I'm very glad it's here. It's helped us become better farmers. How has technology changed the way you guys farm and operate the most?
Coming up with content for this personally, for this episode, was hard for me because we are old school over here. Like,
Yeah.
all of our equipment and tractors are so old. They are Aaron's grandpa's and the
Hmm.
same tractors that he used. So, like, I guess it was hard for me to think of examples.
Yeah. I mean, you're a smaller operation, so you don't need as much. You can make do with what you got. But as you
Mhm.
grow, I think more and more people look to technology because of the labor issues, because one person or two people can't do it all. I mean, like robotic milkers are becoming more and more popular just for many reasons. The labor standpoint again, but then also for smaller farms, like I feel like robots work really well with dairy farms that have like 200 or less cattle because then you're still milking the cows, you're still there. You're just managing things differently. You're essentially waiting for the robot to be like, something broke, come look at me, come fix me, or go fetch this cow. She's hasn't been milked, she doesn't want to come in. But it does give you more flexibility. Like you can go to your kids' soccer game or whatever and not worrying about, well, at 5, I have to be back to milk the cows. Like it's being done for you. There are systems that, like these little robots that'll push up feed for the cows. I think about the technology we have just in the tractor for feeding the cows. We have a feed system that like measures everything. We have like trackers, like it's basically like a Fitbit for our cow. Like, guys, I could go on and on with all of the cool things that help us give our cows and our land better attention.
Yeah. One of the things I did think of that one of our local farms utilizes are, like the collars, like the invisible fence collars for dogs. They have them for their cows.
What? I didn't even know this was a thing.
I didn't either. So they make them for cattle and it's used for rotational grazing. So you like set your parameters and it'll beep, when they're getting too close to the boundary.
Uh-huh.
And they're basically trained to and then you set your parameters new every week or whatever you want to
Well, that's
do.
pretty neat. Now you don't have to go building fence and fixing fence.
Right. Right. I'm wondering if they have to like move like a wire boundary or something with it so that they know,
Yeah.
so they can like see. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I was intrigued.
Yeah. There's a lot I don't know about. Like there's so much technology
Same.
out there. It is crazy. Like sometimes I worry about the way of this world and where is agriculture going and does anybody care about us? And then I go back to thinking about all these very smart people who are like, you know how we could make this work better if we did this, and they invent something. And I
Mhm.
just think that is like so amazing. Like, thank God I'm happy to just be out here doing the manual labor. You people out there keep doing smart things and make it easier for us.
Right.
What do you think your like great grandparents would say about today's technology?
Grandpa Bud would say, "You're using the same exact equipment as as I used. What are you doing?"
What are you doing?
I'm just kidding. I mean, it's just they don't break. They just
Yeah.
keep going.
Oh God, that's a whole nother topic of how well things were built back in the day compared to now. Like, ask me how many times I've replaced my goddamn dishwasher. So many
Right.
times.
Right.
Uh,
But what would your grandparents say?
I think they'd be pretty astounded by technology. I know a while back, my sister was going through my great grandma's stuff and she found my great grandma's diary. And this was in the 90s when we were going from a tie stall barn to a parlor. And my grandma was like, I don't know about this. This seems too good to be true. Like, what do you mean automatic milkers? There's going to be a parlor. And she was very skeptical. But then she went on to say, I am here to see that the love of farming is still alive in the Dornick family. So even though she was like, oh, I don't know about this technology. Are you sure we want to do it this way? She was like, my kids, my grandkids, my great grandkids, they're evolving. They're trying to keep up with the times, to continue to do a better job. So I think she'd be proud, but also like just very surprised. Like, I'm
Mhm.
surprised sometimes when I think about the technology out there. Like, we have these little ear tags now. We just switched from an activity system that used to hang around their collar, and now it's a little ear tag. Like, it can track their rumination. So, like, I mean,
Wild.
that, how? How does this little ear tag? It's magic, you guys. It doesn't make any sense to me.
In such a tiny little device.
Right. How is it doing all these things? It'll take their temperature. I mean, we bought the cheaper route, I think, but there's some that it'll do how much they milked at each milking. Just wowzers. Wowzers is all I have to say.
Crazy.
It's crazy.
Going back to the myths, there is one thing that I forgot to mention is the people who are hating on these farmers with the fancy self-driving tractors. Why you doing that?
Yeah.
It is not like shameful to embrace new technology.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be losers, okay? Don't say that.
Right.
People say like, oh, they're not real farmers. If the tractor is driving itself, you're not even driving the tractor. Like, how can you call yourself a real farmer? I've heard that before online.
Probably from another farmer, too. That's one thing
Yeah.
that really jerks my chain is when certain farmers don't like the way other farmers are doing things. Like, hey, there is more than one way to skin a cat, and there's more than one way to farm. Like, and when it comes to technology, like, there's a lot out there. It's impossible to embrace it all. I think each individual farmer has to figure out what they need and what works for them and what they're willing to invest in. And that's going to look different for everybody. And you can't criticize someone for that.
Don't do it. Like,
Mm-mm.
if you're poor like me and can't afford the fancy equipment and are jealous, like, just say that. Don't call them non-farmers. Okay?
Well, I think that's the interesting part about technology, too, is you do have to sit down and decide, okay, what really is valuable and needed for us. Like where you guys are at, you don't need a tractor that drives itself, right? But to
Mhm.
a different farmer that's going through different things, like that could be worth their time, their money, the investment.
Right. Like, we don't have enough acreage for that to make sense for our operation. And same goes as like the ear tags for our cattle because we only have like 70 head. And so, like, we are able to observe heat cycles easily. So,
Right.
a lot of these things don't make sense for our operation, but they definitely make sense for other operations.
I think there's also like a misconception when it comes to technology on the farm that the more technology or the bigger a farm gets, the more like a factory they are. And that really cheeses me off because we aren't implementing technology because we're lazy. We're implementing technology because we want to be better. We want to be more efficient. So
Hmm.
I think like a lot of people don't realize like those little ear tags we have or those pedometers in their collar, it helps us give each individual cow better care. Because like you said, like you have X amount of cows and you're able to visually watch for heats. That's what we used to do for a herd of 500. And that was very time consuming because every group of cows that would walk to the parlor, we would have to make sure we stood there and watched them all walk to the parlor so we could see who had a sore foot, who was in heat, who looked sick, or we'd have to walk each pen. Like, that's very time consuming. So when we implemented this technology, that freed up so much more time for us to focus and do a better job on other things.
That's such a good point because people have to realize some farms have 600, 1,200 cows.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's impossible to go around and examine every single cow every single day. Like, we need, or you guys need, these little devices that will, sound the alarm if something is
Yeah,
off.
absolutely. Oh, technology. What a world. What a world.
Hmm.
think we should move on to what you ought to know, which goes very well with today's Spill the Tea topic. It's all about technology. This episode is actually sponsored by UpTerra, and I had the opportunity to chat with their team. Guys, they are doing some really cool stuff when it comes to helping farmers do better. The TerraFlow device integrates with your existing irrigation system to make water more hydrating for plants and soil. It organizes and enhances water through a combination of vortexing and frequency imprinting, helping every drop go further. Like, what do you mean? How can you do that? Right? So let's just get into it. Let's get into the quick little interview I had with UpTerra. You guys are going to be, I was mind blown. So here you go. Hello, Stacy.
Hello.
I'm so glad to have you here because Courtney and I were just saying how thankful we are that there are people smarter than us that are making farmers' jobs easier through technology.
Yeah, those people are at the office. All the smarties are in the lab.
I think you're one of them too.
Thank you.
So for those of us who aren't familiar with UpTerra, can you please kind of explain it to me as if I'm 5 years old?
Yes. Okay, I'll try my best. So UpTerra believes that everything starts with water. And we've all heard from farmers that their crops look more vibrant and their soil is more hydrated after a rain than it is after an irrigation event. And there's a reason for that. When water is moving in nature through the ocean, down creeks, over waterfalls, that movement keeps its molecular structure. It's causing vortexing and implosions, and all of those things keep the structure of the water. Modern day infrastructure has to move a lot of water to a lot of places. And through that process, water sits stagnant for a long time. It's going long lengths in PVC pipe. It's taking unnatural 90-degree turns. All of these things break down the structure of water and ultimately make it hard for the plant to take from it. The plant has to do a lot of work to get what it needs from that water. So what UpTerra does is we have an inline irrigation device. It's less than 40 inches long, takes about 2 hours to install it. And I always joke that it's like a little obstacle course for water. So it's going around all these things and it's causing implosions and vortexing and it's restructuring your water at scale. The second part of that is we have these really cool frequency arrays. They're sandwiched on the outside of our flow device and they're sending frequencies back and forth to each other. And as the water is getting structured, it's grabbing and like intercepting those frequencies and carrying them to the plant. So what it's doing is making it very bioavailable. So if I were really explaining this to a 5-year-old, I would say that we can go to McDonald's and get a Happy Meal, and that processed food will feed us. We won't starve. Or we can get a farm to fork meal and get nourished by that meal. Both of them are food. One just does a better job. And that's the same thing with UpTerra water versus our typical irrigation water.
That is so interesting.
Yeah.
As you were explaining it in my head, do you remember the game Mousetrap where the little marble kind of goes through like that? That's what I was envisioning when you were describing what the water goes
That's
through.
funny because marbles are a part of our technology. They're just crystal.
Oh, really?
Marbles. Yeah.
Oh, so cool. So when did you guys over at UpTerra kind of realize like agriculture needs this? This is going to be so helpful.
Yeah, I think that water is just a huge pain point for farmers. You know, wells are running dry. Farmers are being hit with curtailments. We're all learning about the power of water. I think we all underestimated it for a long time, and we're learning more and more about the different properties of water and how important the structure is. And so we know that we can't make more water. And I like to joke that if anybody could, it would probably be UpTerra. We might figure that out one day. But for right now, it's about making the water that we do have go farther. And that's what our technology is able to do. So it's right on time because it's definitely needed right now.
Definitely. Yeah. I think farmers are always looking for ways to be more efficient, to use less resources. And then something like water isn't as available. I think about California and places that get really dry. They need to be able to maximize what they
Yeah.
have.
Yeah. Agreed.
So, what is the biggest way TerraFlow helps farmers save time, money, and more specifically, money on their inputs?
Yeah, so we've learned that with time, it's easy because you're just installing it. There's no filters, there's no updates that have to happen. It's very much like set it and forget it. As long as water's going in one end and coming out the other, it is working for you. And then we've learned that through like inline fertigation, customers who are fertigating with their TerraFlow, their inputs are going further. So the water is traveling farther. There's a lot of different benefits that maybe we didn't expect. And we've learned through our own data, like we're pushing salts out of the root zone and inputs are going further with the structured water. So it's a whole kind of plethora of healing that we're seeing happening beneath the soil. But time wise, farmers spend very little time messing with UpTerra.
And that's good. I like the set it and forget
Yeah.
it. Every farmer
Yes.
loves to hear set it and forget it.
They all go, what's the maintenance like? And we're like, there is no maintenance.
Oh, unreal.
Yeah, it's great.
So, can you share a real example of a farm that used UpTerra and saw a big improvement? Do you have some examples?
Oh, yeah, there's a lot. The first one that comes to my mind, we don't play favorites at UpTerra, but I'm here in Boise, Idaho, and one of our very early adopters is a potato farmer in northern Idaho. And he had one of the first system installed, and we've been longtime data partners. So he shares his data with us. We've had a lot of expansion on his farm. But we were analyzing the data as we do every year. And this crop was potatoes. And we saw a bunch of great improvements. We saw a yield increase. We saw an increase of number one potatoes, which is always what they're after. We saw 18% water reduction. And then that partnered with a yield increase. And then as we were going through the data, we saw that he applied on his treatment field $860 less inputs. And usually with treatment and control, they're apples for apples. So we said, well, A, that's amazing. And then B, what made you reduce the inputs? And the field manager said that he started just watching his UpTerra field instead of sticking to like a rigorous input schedule or fertigation schedule. He just watched the field and let it tell him what it needed. And so we're always encouraging customers to do that. Like there's so many benefits of UpTerra. You just got to keep your eyes open and find those opportunities for savings. If you're looking for them, they're there.
I'm curious, do you have any quotes from farmers or examples of when they had like a big aha moment and were like, oh my gosh, this is working?
Well, that's actually the one that we hear the most is like, holy crap, this really works. Or I don't know how you guys do it or what's happening, but it's working. A lot of that, there's definitely a good amount of skepticism that everybody comes in with, and they want to prove us right, obviously, because they want it to work for their farm, but they're always blown away when they see it working.
Yeah, I think anytime a farmer, just from my experience, sees new technology, it's almost like this is too good to be true. Like, how does this work?
Yes. And I think farmers have been kind of promised everything. They've heard it all. So we're just another one where they're like, oh, yeah, okay. I thought I've heard it all. And then there's you guys.
Right. What do you think is the biggest misconception farmers have when it comes to using technology like this?
I think that we're saying, wow, we had this huge discovery and UpTerra is new technology. But what people don't realize is that we've said it before internally in the company, like we are built on the shoulders of giants. There were so many greats before us that made advancements in technology in quantum physics. Nikola Tesla was one of them. There's several Nobel Peace Prizes out there for the technology that we're using. So we're not saying, hey, look what we discovered. We're just the first people to apply it to agriculture. So I think if you go back and you look at all the work that's been done to get us here, you realize maybe it's not like that big of a claim. It's just a very new application.
So many smart people. So many smart people.
It's true. Thankfully.
Do you find that older generation farmers are open to this, or do you kind of have to win them over? And maybe that's for farmers in general. We kind of talked about this a little bit.
Yeah. We have farmers of all ages. There's definitely something to the father-son duo where
the two of them together like jump on board with UpTerra. I don't know what it is about that. And I don't think it's necessarily like the younger one talking the older one into it. But I think that what aligns with UpTerra is our own alignment with nature. And everybody understands that. Like, okay, my soil has turned to dirt and everything is kind of out of whack. And I think of it a lot like taking a pill is going to solve one problem, but it's going to give you a couple other ones. I think agriculture is a lot like that. So they're constantly just like trying to jump on top of problems. So when we talk to them about the importance of getting back in resonance with nature, they seem to understand that. And that's across the board for all ages. They just have to really understand our offering.
Mm-hmm. What barriers still exist for farmers wanting to adopt this new technology?
Money, right? Time and money, I think. I think that, somebody told me once, you'll never see a farmer with numbers on his calculator keys because they're always crunching the numbers. And I thought it was so cute and funny. And then I saw it and I was like, oh, wow, they're not kidding. But they have to be so smart, and they are so smart, but they have to be so smart with where they put every dollar that maybe sometimes like UpTerra would be considered like fun money or play money or let's see what this could do. And maybe we're not. I hope that eventually we'll be seen more of a necessity for a farm to get things back on track. But, farmers don't have a lot to play with, especially with where commodity prices are and input costs and, all of the things that are stacked up against them.
Mm-hmm.
They just have to be really careful with where they spend their money. So we always say, give us one system on your worst farm and let us show you what we could do.
Yeah, I think that is a good point. Like, it's so hard for farmers to decide what is the best bang for our buck. Where can we spend this money? Because there is an extra,
Yes,
like how can we get more back?
Yes, exactly. And the good news is that like our technology it's healing the land under the soil. So we're increasing microbial activity. I told you we're putting the salinity out of the root zone, and you could see the roots moving different and the water moving different in the soil. And all these amazing things that have accumulative benefits over the years are happening beneath the soil. But the good news is that they're seeing it above the soil line the very first year. So it's not that big of a risk where they're like, I can't invest in this right now to see the benefits 3 years later. They're going to get the benefits instantly, and they're just going to keep getting better.
That's huge too. Because you guys are a relatively new technology, correct?
Yeah, we came out in 2020.
Okay. So to have that quick return is going to help. I mean, you guys grow, and that gives farmers peace of mind. You don't want to spend months or years waiting to see the effects of it. You get to see it immediately.
They're up against the clock. They're like, I have to make it work by the end of this year. And their whole, for their whole crop, they have to get an ROI on that crop. So we understand that.
What is one piece of technology coming down the pipeline that you think will just blow farmers' minds?
It's mind-blowing. It blows my mind, and I'm in it every day. But that is TerraNet Beta. And it's really easy to look at UpTerra and say, oh my gosh, the potential here is huge, and we can get really excited with what that means in the future. So we're trying to keep like our heads where our feet are. But I will give you this. Everything in nature has its own unique frequency. You have one, I have one, the water on my table has one. And in the UpTerra lab, they're able to capture that frequency. So how this is impactful to farming is, say that a farmer needs nitrogen on his field. UpTerra can digitize nitrogen, and everything in nature is energy. And Nikola Tesla talks a lot about this and many other greats, but the plant will receive a frequency of something at face value. So if you send a plant a frequency of nitrogen, it'll say, ooh, nitrogen, and it'll respond as if it's topical nitrogen. So what we're doing is we call it TerraNet Beta. And right now, all of our customers are getting a preset list of digital inputs, and they're focused on soil health, root health, and plant health. And it's in beta. So we're just watching all the data and refining our programs and building our digital input catalog. But where we hope to go is to have an app where a customer could say, this field needs potassium, and he could deliver it digitally on his app.
I think, people talk a lot about sustainability. Sustainability is a huge buzzword, especially for consumers. They want to know that farmers are doing right by the land and how they grow things and operate.
That's right.
And that's just another plus of what you guys have to offer. It's giving farmers ways to be more sustainable, to be better so that we can keep doing what we're doing for years to come.
That's right. UpTerra is really here to make an impact. We are a business, but we want to help farmers. We want to do something that's going to change for future generations in a positive way. So that's what I love about this company is we're very impact driven. We understand what farmers are up against and we want to bring them relief.
Well, it has been so nice talking to you. I love that I get to talk to other people from the industry and share this with other farmers, other people in agriculture. It's just really inspiring, and it keeps, I think, us as farmers wanting to do what we do because we have so many smart people helping us do a better job. It's really cool. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we sign off?
No, I just want to thank you for your podcast. I was listening to it this morning, and it's just a great way to unite women in agriculture. I know that there's a few of us, so it's great to bring us all together. So thank you for your work too, and your interest in UpTerra.
Yeah, I'm glad you joined us for our What You Ought to Know segment because this is definitely something people ought to know. So thank you so much. Shall we move on to a farm girl confession? What do you got, Courtney?
This is less of a confession and more of an ode to you guys. I have been listening to y'all for quite some time, and I had just listened to your manifestation podcast, and I had been struggling with whether or not to leave my current job. I recently found out I was pregnant and am just looking for a different path for my family. And the current job that I was in, I was working 12-hour shifts, 5 days a week, back to back, noon to midnight. And that just wasn't going to work for me anymore. So your podcast gave me the courage to go ahead, stand up for myself, and do what was best for my family. So, thank you.
Hell yeah, girl. I'm so proud of you.
Yes. That's so amazing. Yeah, if you guys are listening and you're wondering what episode she's talking about, it is episode 81, where farm girls talk about 7 steps to manifesting your best life. And that was a fun one. We always like to talk about manifesting.
Yes.
But I'm so glad she sent that in because sometimes I feel like, should I keep talking about this? Like, should I keep talking about the power of manifesting and sharing your story and doing the thing? Like, doesn't everybody know this by now? Because I just feel like we've talked about it for so long. And it's clear that, like, people still need to hear that message.
Right. And people are just jumping in sometimes to our podcast and might have missed all of that. So we're just going to keep talking about it.
Yeah, or jumping into a new phase of life. Like, I think in my head, I think everybody's on the same page as me, but they could be a few pages back or a few pages ahead. And it's also a good reminder for all of you out there to share your story, do your thing, because you don't know who it could help. Like, there is this thing called the trickle effect, you know? I think about how I started sharing my story years ago and then encouraging other people to share their story. And now I've gotten, I don't know, quite a few like messages like this from people being like, thank you for saying that because it encouraged me to do ABCD. And that just makes my heart so happy. Like, I love to hear a farm girl doing the thing, figuring out what's right for her. Like, hell yeah.
Yes, same. It's very reassuring. Sometimes we get on this podcast and we're like, I don't know if anyone is really listening, but we're going to have this combo anyways. And so it's just great to hear feedback like that.
Yeah. Follow your heart, ladies. Listen to your gut. Do what's right for you. And you know what? If it ends up being a mistake, you'll learn from it and you'll find the next best thing to do.
Yes. All right. Well, shall we move on to what the hell?
Let's do it. What do you got? Because you texted me yesterday and you're like, I've got things to say and it's going to take a minute. Alrighty. So I've been anxiously waiting.
Fuming mad when I was writing this out yesterday, but I think it's because I'm getting my period, so that makes sense.
Oh, that'll do it. Yep.
Okay, Well, it kind of goes along with yours.
Okay.
Same kind of category. So you want to talk about yours?
Sure, I'll go first. So last week, my nephew, who was 4 years old, came to stay with us for like 5 days while my sister and her husband were on vacay. And it was great. Cousin time was great. The sun was shining. We were farming. We all hung out together. And then after my nephew went home, Tom says to me, "You ever think about a third?" And I was like, "A third what?" He's like, "Child." And I was like, "Never."
Can't
No. And he goes, "Well, not that I'd ever get like my vasectomy reversed, but I don't know, it just might be cool to have another one." I was like, And he's like, "Well, not that I really want anything to do with them from 0 to 18, but wouldn't it be cool to have like 6 or 7? And I was like, 6 or 7? Like, what? And he's like, "Just so that, like 6 or 7 kids would come back for the holidays." And I was like, "Do you just need more friends? Like, why do we have to reproduce?"
Yeah, we have friends for that.
We have cousins, like that's why our kids have cousins. So there'll be 6 or 7 kids all coming home for the holidays.
Yeah, you don't have to make all the kids.
No. Oh,
That's so funny.
I know. But I remember I had a conversation with some of my girlfriends years ago because we had all given birth around the same time. And I had the twins, and these 2 friends of mine already had 2 kids. And they were like, I don't know, how do you know if you're ready for a third? And I said to them, the fact that you're thinking about it and it is not crossing my mind whatsoever tells me that you guys are meant to have a third and I am not. And they're like, "Really? You think so?" I was like, "Yeah, because it's not rolling around in my brain at all." So, and then a year later, they each had their third. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I think that's how you know.
I thought about it we both thought about it for a quick minute, but then having that second infant, a newborn phase again, we're like, no, we're good.
Right? And especially now, like the kids are 8. For one, I wouldn't want them to have that big of an age gap in between siblings. And 2, like, I don't think I could go back. Like, it's so nice that the kids are more independent now. Like, to have to go back to all that sleepless nights and shenanigans and I really like, yeah.
All the clutter.
And a
That's where my
family,
brain goes. I'm like, so much clutter.
we still have so much clutter. But also, like, a family of 4 travels together so well. I mean, I'd have to get a new vehicle. I really like the Bronco. It's a tight fit with 4.
Yeah.
We're having fun now.
Right. We're finally having fun. I don't want to go back.
No. We'll just wait to be grandmothers, and then we'll get a baby fix again and send them home.
Yes. All right. Well, my what the hell is having to do with Aaron's vasectomy.
Oh, dear.
Which is coming up.
He has not had one yet. For some reason in my head, I thought he did.
We've been talking about it for years, and I have an IUD, so
okay,
we've just been fine because they last for so long. But I feel like it's starting to get to the point where I need to get that removed.
How funny that this also kind of relates to technology.
I know.
This form of birth control. Yeah. Anyways, proceed.
So he had the audacity to say, "Court, like, this is a big procedure. It's a big deal."
What? Pal, you are in and out. Grab yourself a bag of peas and get over it.
I am not like one to be like a one-upper or like the whataboutisms. Those always annoy the shit out of me. But I need to say something here.
Let her rip.
And just stick with me. And this might be hard to hear. Trigger warning. It's kind of graphic, but I feel like I need to say this.
Everything you just said, like, just builds me. I know it's going to be good. Like, these are all the words I want. These are all the words I want someone to say to me before they tell me something.
So I said, let me remind you of what I've done for us. I have grown babies inside of me for a total of 18 months, puking my guts out and so uncomfortable because pregnancy has never been good to me. I have had major abdominal surgery from an emergency C-section when our baby almost died inside of me. I have had emergency surgery from my ruptured ectopic pregnancy and a blood transfusion. I've miscarried. I've ripped my vagina to my asshole to deliver a second child, our second child.
That should have been all you had to say.
Yeah, but there's more. I have had to stab needles into my nipples because my milk ducts fused together, obstructing milk flow. Like it wouldn't come out, but I was super engorged. And so I had to stab holes into my nipple in order to get the milk to flow again, to come out.
Jesus.
And I did this all myself in a bathroom because I felt guilty. I didn't want to inconvenience you and make you take off work to drive me to the doctor because I was postpartum and I couldn't drive. I was thinking of him. Like, I'm just going to take care of this quick.
Yeah.
Myself. And it was a bloody freaking mess, as you can imagine.
Do you even have any numbing cream or anything? Would you just raw dog it?
No, I raw dog. I took a needle, I toasted it over like a lighter, like flame.
Courtney. Warning. Anything Courtney did, we do not recommend doing yourself. Please seek medical help.
I had a toddler I had a toddler and a newborn baby and a husband that I knew would complain if I made him leave work. So I was like, I ain't got time to go to the doctor. I'm just going to take care of this right now.
And you did.
And and then I pumped and the milk was flowing again and it was fine. But I had to do that 2 different times.
Yeah.
Let me carry on with my list here. I got so sick from mastitis over and over again for months. High fevers, 4 rounds of antibiotics. I had reconstructive breast surgery because babies destroyed my tatas. I had an IUD shoved into my cervix with no pain control because it's never offered to women. I had really painful IUD cramps for 6 months after that. I went through 15 years of risks and symptoms associated with taking birth control pills, like many other women.
Mm-hmm.
So no, your fucking vasectomy is nothing in comparison to just one of these things.
Right.
To your outpatient procedure.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and then you get to sit in your recliner at home and rest and be probably waited on. Because that's what I did to Tom. He just watched, like, Mighty Ducks in the bedroom with a bag of peas, and I brought him snacks.
Right. So no, it's not a serious procedure. You know what a serious procedure is abdominal surgery, a C-section,
right.
All of those things I just listed.
What did he say to all of that?
He went, oh. Oh, never mind.
Exactly.
I'm like, I could probably keep going. Like,
yeah.
Those are just things I thought of in the 5 minutes that I was fuming angry.
I can just see you, like, pacing the kitchen like he's getting
angrily typing this out on your phone.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Well,
Come
men,
on.
if you're listening, I mean, I think we need to play this on our social media page, just the rundown, because it's so relatable to women and what our bodies go through. To have your significant other be like, oh, this vasectomy is gonna be so painful. It's such a big deal, Court.
Right?
No.
I think when I wanted Tom to get one, he was like a little like, oh, I'm kind of scared, but he didn't put up much of a fight because I was like, look, man, I had my guts on the side on the table next to me while they took the 2 babies out. Like, if my gut can go out and back in, you can like spread your legs and take a little snip.
Get a little snip.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yep. Technology, right? Oh, I mean, it all kind of flows together. It really does.
It does.
God bless we can get vasectomies and have all these options. Options are good, you know?
And I would have died several times already. Like, if it weren't for medical advancements and new technology, my baby wouldn't have made it. Your baby, I don't know if she would have made it either.
Nope.
We've talked about that before. Like, I would have died a long time ago.
Right.
Thank you, technology.
Medical advancements. I mean, not even that long ago, we didn't have this amazing technology to like save our babies. You know, had it been the 1930, 40, it would have been a different story. And that wasn't, well, maybe this is aging me now. It wasn't that long ago, but it kind of was.
No, I get it. Just like the last 20 years, like we've come so far.
Yeah, for real. Well, with that, you guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Remember, technology in agriculture isn't about replacing farmers. It's about replacing the stuff we don't really want to do anyway. So here's to working smarter, saving resources, and letting the robots earn their keep. And also, like, one more shout out to UpTerra. Thank you for chatting with us. I didn't even know technology in water was a thing. I learned so much chatting with them. It's really cool. So be sure to check them out, see if it's a good fit for your farm. And yeah, have a day.
Yeehaw!
Bye. Guys, thanks for hanging out with us today.
If you had as much fun as we did, would you do us a favor and share this episode with a friend?
Speaking of friends, can we all be friends over on the Instagram? You can find me at @modfarmchick.
And me at Mrs. Green Pastures Cattle.
See you next week, guys.